Well, glad to see you, everybody, on this Tuesday. It's Longshore and McKnight as we get going here. Another great show planned here for you. A lot of great guests as always. Looks to be a beautiful day, but boy, a former Alabama football player, it is not a good day for him. It certainly wasn't yesterday.
Yeah, but it's one of those "what are you thinking" kind of deals. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It is Tuesday. It is the final day of June.
Golly, look at that.
The last one. We are almost we are right at 6 full months, halfway through 2026. Hard to believe. It happens when you get older. So they tell me whenever I start to get older, I probably will notice it. But tomorrow it's July.
Man,
July means media days month. August means fall camp, and we all know what September means.
Yeah. I look at it this way, Barry. It was 6 months ago that Alabama went through that 35-point ass whooping.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
Well, we've got that. Would you term that having gotten that out of the way? Because I don't. Because we will have it coming up.
That's going to be one that's going to be. I just got to let you know, and our viewing and listening audience. I don't want to harp on it. I know it seems that way.
Too late for that.
Yeah, but I just am having a difficult time to get over that. As a man, kind of difficulty. Former Bama player Terrion Arnold, judge going to, hey, you know what? I want you to keep doing what you're doing, being able to make a living. We're going to set your bond at $1 million, release your passport, all that kind of stuff, home confinement, but you can work on your profession. Oh, thanks, Judge. 5 minutes later, you just got cut. Lions said they don't need you anymore.
Released. It is so weird. He got Terrion Arnold, former Alabama defensive back. He is a cornerback for the Detroit Lions, making millions.
Yeah.
And, well, he was spent, I want to say sometime in January. I don't have it right in front of me. A little time at an Airbnb. You ever stayed in one of those, John?
I've never paid for one to stay in. I don't think so. No, I don't think I have. No.
That's like, John, have you ever been to a World Series game?
Now, I've been to three of those.
Well, but I haven't paid for one, but yes, So that does count, whether you paid for one or not.
I did pay for one of them. It was the one at Turner Field. The two at Fulton County I did not pay for, but I'm still amazed to this day, Barry, that the price I paid for that ticket, I'm not sure what game it was. I know it was the night they revealed the 100 best players in baseball history. I remember that was the night. And also
that was the one where Pete Rose got into it with Jim Gray.
That's right. So I don't know what game that was, but I can remember buying my ticket for $125 for a World Series game. This is like game 4 or 5.
That ain't happening no more.
Yeah.
More on that.
I'm paying $125 for what? For this? Oh.
The Airbnb, I've stayed at a rental property before, like on the beach. I've done the show from a couple of rental properties before. But they say Airbnbs are losing their steam because of, things like this. He was staying with a group of buddies, his posse, his boys, in January, I think, at an Airbnb in Long Grove, Florida. And during their stay, Arnold, who was pretty much a straight arrow at Alabama, was never in trouble. Miss Terry was a buddy of his. Heck, he got Nick Saban wrote him a character reference for this.
Obviously, that didn't help.
Anyway, with his group, during their stay, a burglary did occur at the residence. That did happen.
Okay.
Multiple items were allegedly stolen, including $100,000 in cash, why?
Yeah, who keeps $100,000 just floating around at an Airbnb?
Other than the fan, an $80,000 necklace. Arnold and his associates eventually.
Wait, whoa. What's the difference between friend and associate?
Yeah, that's a good question, because some of those may not have been associates.
I mean, if you're going to an Airbnb, it's
friends.
usually at some vacation spot. You're going with friends. You're not going with associates.
Well,
unless you're in Goodfellas.
Well, maybe some of them were friends. Maybe some of them weren't friends. Maybe some of them were professionals in other fields. Arnold and his associates eventually called the police and reported more than $250,000 in property stolen. The group hired a private driver during their time at that Airbnb, and they believe that the driver was one of several people who played a part in the robbery. Authorities investigated. They eventually cleared the driver, but instead of waiting for police to investigate the robbery, Arnold and his associates decided to take matters into their own hands.
Cannot do that. And here early Joe's at it again. I mean, Joe just coming out of strong early today. When's your act? Well, when's the showtime, Joe?
Joe says Terrion Arnold will finally be a lockdown corner. I like it. Very good. Very good. A locked up corner. Anyway, eventually, decided to take matters into their own hands. The group allegedly lured the driver and two other men to an apartment where two of the victims were jumped, pistol whipped, and held at gunpoint by two of Arnold's associates.
How do you lure them in there? With cheese? I mean, hey, let me show you this new flat screen I got. How do you lure them in?
Is that really a question? Because normally you ask decent questions. There are several things that will lure
Were there
people.
some females there maybe they wanted them to meet?
Other associates.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, they were held at gunpoint by two of Arnold's associates, not Arnold himself.
No.
A third man eventually made his way into the apartment, and he was also jumped. All three had visible injuries, while Arnold, get this, while Arnold was not at the apartment, he wasn't there, he didn't have a gun, he didn't pistol whip anybody. While Arnold was not in the apartment, he was able to view what happened via a live stream.
Man, whoa.
Set up by one of his associates. According to it, Arnold's crew eventually let the three men go, but not before allegedly stealing some of the personal properties. The three victims eventually went to the police. And after the investigation, authorities in Florida ended up arresting a total of 7 people, with Arnold being the most recent. Other people include Hudson Williams, Freddie Hughes, a lady named Ariana, a lady named Jasmine.
Oh, yeah. Was Tiffany and Brandy and Lexus there too?
How they were lured to the apartment?
Yeah.
Arnold is facing 8 charges because police believe that he was the primary conspirator. He and his associates had a group chat going, and he kind of told him what he wanted to have happen. But
well, Terrion, I know you can't really plan what type of time of year something like this could happen. But if this happened in the middle of October, this would be page 7 news. But here it is, the end of June, nothing's going on. You're going to be the lead story. This is going to linger for 3 or 4 days. Middle of October, hey, did you hear about Terrion Arnold? Yeah, it's pretty sad. I hate to hear that for that kid. And it was over. Your timing is terrible.
Given
what you're alleged of doing isn't very good either. But Nick Saban wrote a letter on his behalf. Detroit didn't seem very impressed. They let Terrion go yesterday. But, Barry, I got to think there's 31 other teams that might be interested in him.
Well,
somebody will pick this guy up.
Well, if he's eligible to be picked up, like Joe said, he may be a locked-up corner. Given that the maximum punishment Arnold faces is life in prison.
Whoa, sheesh.
There is a real possibility that his NFL career is over if found guilty of even a portion of what he's accused. I'm reading from CBSSports.com.
Yeah.
He was the number 24 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft. He started 22 games for the Lions over the past 2 seasons, and they just had to eat that whole draft pick, that whole bonus, the whole, he's done. I don't know. He ain't playing for the Lions anymore, and everybody's going to have to wait to see if he goes into the tank. I mean, not to downplay or compare, but Mike Vick, he spent like 2 years in prison for dog fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how it will work out.
I've never really heard of a crime like this. This is, watching it on closed circuit YouTube video stream or whatever. And
see, this ain't like Don Corleone telling Robert Duvall, "Hey, give it to give it to Clemenza and make sure he's got professionals on it. We don't want anybody good die." This is like that.
Yeah.
Except that instead of telling Tom Hagen to get Clemenza to rough those kids up that messed up the Undertaker's daughter, the Baker's daughter, you use a live chat, a live stream, and a group chat.
Yeah.
So just because he was not there, he was not pistol whipping anybody, or he was not saying, "Hey, you grab that guy," does not mean that he's not responsible.
Yeah, we didn't cover this in pre-law, but the phrase premeditated comes to mind. I mean, if you set up a live stream, you got a group chat. Obviously, this was planned out. You were expecting this to happen, and you wanted to watch it instead of actually being there, probably thinking, well, if I'm there, maybe I could get hurt or shot or whatever. So hate it for the young man, had a big bright smile and very charismatic, and Terry Saban was always
but again
talking on his behalf, as did Nick Saban with a letter.
And Bob from Pike Road, who is an attorney, said, he's been a defense attorney. He's saying, I could get him out of that. Maybe he can. I don't know. But everybody out there, you guys on the group chat, John, all you guys, you agree that was a very stupid thing for him to do, right?
I mean,
all you got to do, you're playing a sport you love at a high level. You're making millions of dollars. You're hopefully socking some away for your future. You got the world at your feet. So why would you want to potentially throw it all away?
Barry, I've asked that question many, many times. I think that, you hear these things about
police do their job.
I don't get any respect, or I'm not going to let somebody treat me this way, or I'll take care of this myself. And I'm thinking, really? Have you not seen so many other instances in the past where it didn't work out that way? Mm-hmm. And you're going to jeopardize and gamble all that because you didn't get any respect, or you want to make sure this guy knows how you feel, or you want to give this guy, a dose of his own medicine, whatever. I don't get it. I just do not get it. Hate it. I've seen it with a lot of other athletes, celebrities, whatever, whoever you want to call it, everyday Joes for that matter.
Oh, yeah.
But, the guy that's, well-known in the limelight, you hate to see that. Hate to see it with anybody.
Of kidnapping, 4 counts of armed robbery, $1 million bond. Again, he isn't allowed to leave his residence until he's going to work. The Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office had said he'd be held in jail without bail until the start of the trial, but that one was denied. But just, why would you not let the police investigation run its course? Why would you not collect the insurance on the whatever necklace or whatever like that? Instead, you got to, like John said, you got to announce to the world that you are a, bad and you will not be disrespected, and you mess with the bull, you get the horns or whatever. And now he doesn't have an NFL contract. He's, people are going to wait for a long time until they figure out how this is adjudicated. No matter what happens, he could be, he could be the next Dion as a defensive back or whatever. He can play another 15 years in the NFL, but this will always follow him.
And I'm sure he'll think about it long and hard. if he hadn't already, about what has happened. It's similar to what we talked about yesterday with Phil Mickelson. I don't know if you saw where Ashley Perez, the former wife of PGA Tour player Pat Perez,
who was a buddy of his, evidently, a buddy of Mickelson's,
claims that back in 2015, Mickelson sent her nude pictures of himself with a text saying, "Hey, I'll leave my bedroom door open tonight. When Pat falls asleep, come see me."
That was,
wow.
Again, that was just one instance of what seems to be allegedly a pattern of behavior. All you got to do
that
is play golf, do endorsements, make money, sign a few autographs. Somebody's got to explain it to me. Somebody's got to explain the psychology behind that type of thing.
I'd like to know it too. Well, Barry, when we get back, I got a really good, feel-good, pleasant story.
Yeah,
and no, it's not the fact that the Braves are leaking fuel and they're panicking, and that double-digit lead they had 6 weeks ago is shrink to about 2.
It's a good thing you're not going to bring that up. Goodness gracious. If you were to bring that up, that'd be a real downer. Thank goodness you didn't.
That's good news to some people, maybe not good news to others, but I'm not going to harp on the Braves, just basically
I think you just
joking that lead away down to a mere 2 games. I got a much better story I want to share when we get back.
Yes. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. This is Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitcher's duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Get some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Big news for Central Alabama travelers. Getting to Texas just got easier. You can now fly nonstop from Montgomery to Houston with United Airlines. No long drives, no layovers, just smooth direct travel from your hometown airport. Whether it's business or a weekend getaway, Houston is now just one flight away. Spend more time there and less time getting there. Fly nonstop to Houston. Fly MGM, where travel feels easy. Book your trip today at flymgm.com.
Well, here we are back again. It is Longshore and McKnight. Okay, here he goes. We are underway on our second segment. Little bad news for Terrion Arnold, more than a little. Mickelson's in trouble. These are people who, by all definitions of the American dream, have it made. Doing stupid things. John promises us something a little lighter.
Yep.
Something a little more cheerful. Something a little more positive.
Well, let me throw this out here for you before I explain it in a little more detail.
Okay.
Just a couple of highlights. 21 gold medals, 6 silver medals, 13 bronze medals, 2 fourth-place ribbons, 7 fifth-place ribbons, 3 sixth-place ribbons, and 3 seventh-place ribbons. That is what was brought home by Team Alabama at the Special Olympics National Games, which were held in Minneapolis, Minnesota last week.
Give me those numbers again. This is just Team Alabama.
Just Team Alabama. Just Team Alabama. 21 gold medals, 6 silver medals, 13 bronze, 2 fourth-place ribbons, 7 fifth-place ribbons, 3 sixth-place ribbons, and 3 seventh-place ribbons. Team Alabama in the national games in Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's what they brought home. But there's more to it.
I don't doubt it.
One of our athletes, Gabriella, from down in the Houston County area, broke the USA Games record in the women's 800-meter run with a time of 2:33.88, shattering the previous record of 2:40.4, which has stood since 2022. The volleyball team from down around Mobile fought through an impressive tournament bracket to win the gold medal. Another highlight moment, one of our athletes from Mobile, Desmond, in a video that I can share with you, received hearing aids. There's a program that our athletes go through called Healthy Athletes. We do it in Troy for the state games. They do it in the national games. We have doctors, dentists, you name it, volunteer their time, and they screen all of our athletes. I mean, obviously it's not as thorough as you go into an office, but it's, screenings for things that you can detect and look for, easily. And I thought this was a very touching moment. One of our athletes, and I know who Desmond is, was received, it was just, the moment was incredible, a new set of hearing aids. And it was videoed as they were being installed, and they were testing him, and his reaction to being able to hear was unbelievable. I mean, I know you've seen things like that before on YouTube and whatnot, but when you know somebody like this, and it's, somebody that's representing your state, and just the joy on his face and the reaction of being able to hear better than he's ever heard before was really great. To me, that was probably the highlight of the week, along with all the great
gold medal, that's for sure.
But I'll tell you, the athletes and the volunteers and the coaches and everybody that makes this happen, it is amazing. And we had a huge contingent of athletes that were in Minnesota. Alabama normally has one of the largest contingencies, and that goes to the staff that makes all this happen. You look at states out there that are a lot bigger and have much more resources than Alabama does, but we're embarrassing those states. And I hate to use that in a Special Olympics event, but they can do better. It's not the athletes, it's the people that are running it, quite frankly. But Alabama does a great job, and just so proud of these athletes, and they represented it. But, man, breaking a record and gold medal in volleyball and all that kind of good stuff. So, in a time where you don't hear a lot of good things, I wanted to pass along some good things.
That is good news. That is good news. The Special Olympics Alabama, you can find out more by, obviously they got their own website and everything. It's not strictly, it's not like the Olympics or even the, some of the other events out there, in that the point is not necessarily winning, although you want to win, you work to win, you sacrifice to win. If you've never been to one of those and you leave and you have not been uplifted in some way, then you've just either have no soul or you're not paying attention. Because the whole thing is just heartwarming to see all of these people, just the joy, not just the joy of competition, although there is plenty of joy in that, just the joy of being around people and, receiving encouragement. And, it's just great. It's just great.
It really is. I've said it many a time, Barry. You think your life's tough, you're having a bad stretch, you're unhappy, go to a Special Olympics event.
Yeah.
It will certainly turn your life around. It'll put a smile on your face. It'll warm your heart. You've heard the phrase, everybody's a winner at Special Olympics. They are. From the athletes to the coaches to the volunteers to everybody that helps put it on. Everybody's a winner. Everybody's happy that you've succeeded. Athletes that may not cross the finish line first are just as happy as the person that did. It is amazing. And, you kind of look at an event like that, and then some of the attitudes and behaviors I've seen at other events that weren't Special Olympic related, and I'm thinking, really? You're acting like that? Really? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I do get this, though, Barry. I knew this was coming. I knew it was. You can just mark it down. It's like the sun rising each and every day. It is that time of year when these 4 or 5 staunch, hard-nosed Braves fans come up with the excuses. And here's John from Wetumpka. Knew it was coming. John, I appreciate you facing the music.
He says the Braves have been awful this month. Awful. You knew they wouldn't keep up the pace in April and June, but every part of their play has been bad. Offense, defense, and pitching. Other than those three facets, though, they haven't been terrible.
You know what,
Other
John?
than offense, defense, and pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the bullpen pitcher, the batting practice pitcher has been great. I think the third base coach has done a good job. He just hadn't had enough to do over there lately.
Oh, anything about attendance? I mean, is attendance okay as well? I mean, I know when the Cubs come, there are more Cubs fans at the ballpark, and when the Cardinals come, there are more Cardinal fans. Well, how's the attendance over there, John?
Well, you knew it would come down to that. Not only are the Braves not playing well, but I bet nobody's coming to the ball games. And they're hating and they're wondering why they ever moved from Milwaukee. John will take it to an absolute stretching point, and he ain't gradually doing that. He's saying, all right, so they're 3-7 in their last 10 games, and they're not leading by just 2. They're leading by 3.5.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That, boy, I bet the fans are all over them. I bet the fans are asking for season ticket refunds. I bet the fans are calling for the manager's job. I don't know that Atlanta is still going to continue to field a Major League Baseball team, to be quite honest. That's where John takes it almost immediately. There was a podcast, and this is me, and I hate to admit it because for so many years on this program, I have said if there's a bigger baseball fan than I am, I'd like to meet him. Okay. I do all these different sports. I do football, men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball. Soccer, volleyball, and all that kind of stuff. But I've always been a baseball guy. I cannot say that I have watched more than 5 innings of Major League Baseball all year. And it's hard for me to I said something about it before. I watched a little bit of a game a couple, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I just can't, man. Jorge Posada. Jorge Posada.
Yeah.
He is a 4-time World Series champion with the New York Yankees. He's a catcher. He was on a podcast, and he said, I can't watch today's baseball. I love college baseball.
Ooh.
College baseball beats the snot out of Major League Baseball.
Yep.
He said, I can't watch today's baseball. The baseball being played today is garbage. Today's game has become too robotic, too obsessed with formulas. You've got to get the launch angle right, and you've got to get the exit velocity right, and all of this. And it's become too accepting of strikeouts. Posada came from an era where putting the ball in play mattered. Moving runners along mattered. Taking pride in not striking out mattered. He said back then, striking out 100 times in a season felt like you were not doing your job. Now, guys can strike out constantly, hit 30 home runs, bat .202, and still get paid like stars. He says the game got smarter on paper, but dumber between the lines.
I like that.
I couldn't
Dumber
agree
between
with,
the lines.
They're looking to say, the most efficient way to score runs in baseball is to swing for the fences and hit a 3-run homer instead of giving up an out to move a run. And, forget that. You're not playing the game. The game is unwatchable at the major league level. And this is me talking. I can't watch it. College baseball, I mean, there's still a lot of logistics and, still a lot of formulas and stuff. But the emotion is better. I mean, you are stealing bags. You're sacrificing people along. You don't want to strike out.
Do we need the metal bat in Major League Baseball?
It's just, they haven't played with metal bats in forever, but it's just, I was watching that Major League game, and it was like, nothing's happening. Nothing. Strikeout, homer.
Yeah.
Strikeout,
gumball. Similar to the comments 30 years ago.
We need to get back to, the fans are sitting there and, all of the techno guys, all of the Moneyball guys are saying, oh, well, this guy, he hits, his exit velo is great. He's hit balls 110 miles an hour off the bat. Swings and misses all the time, so it doesn't really, make it fun to watch. What other
profession, Barry, can you be like 30% and make $40 million?
You certainly couldn't in the Phantoms profession.
No, you can't.
No,
you cannot. Or or if you're a weather forecaster, you can't hit 30%. But the Braves. They got the Cardinals coming in, then the Mets. So the
Mets are horrible.
They're horrible. Of course, the Braves play the Mets 40 times a year, it seems like.
The good thing is as bad as the Braves are playing, at least they ain't the Mets.
What do you think?
Who are 1-9 of their last 10. They fired their manager. They fired their GM.
What do you think the odds are, Barry, that I keep my mouth shut the entire 4th of July weekend and don't give some smart, aleckly, snarky comment to my brother-in-law about, boy, those Braves, they sure are slipping. I think I'm going to try to be a big boy and keep my mouth shut.
He won't like it. He won't like it a bit. No snarkiness. I don't think he'd recognize you. Let's take a break. When we come back, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com, joins us. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
The following is a message from the Bud Light Party.
July 4th is the most demanding holiday of the year. Justine just wants a half. Alex needs a hot dog without a bun. And Rose says her homemade veggie burgers taste just like the real thing. So this July 4th, stock up on a sure thing. Bud Light. It's a 4th of July fixture everyone can agree to agree on. This message approved by the Bud Light Party. Raise one to right now. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
This summer, Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air is on a Jurassic hunt for the oldest HVAC systems and water heaters in town. If your system is a fossil, now's your chance. Replace it between June 1st and July 31st, and you could win big. We're giving $2,500 back for the oldest HVAC systems and $1,000 back for the oldest water heater. Even if you don't win, you still score major savings on your new HVAC system, water heater, generator, and or garage door. Don't let your systems go extinct. Call Dixie, and it's done.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. 26 minutes to the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, and that means our man Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com, joins us here as he does each and every week. Hey, Brian, how you doing today?
I'm doing terrific. Good morning, guys.
How are you? We're going to get Barry to turn that microphone on so we don't. There we go.
Sometimes it's turned on, sometimes it's turned off. Brian, I know is a big English Premiership League guy. What's your team?
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Okay. Yep. You getting in the World Cup?
Oh,
okay. That's what that is.
Yeah, I love it. 2 great matches yesterday. 2 that went to penalty kicks. Yeah, I think 4 Liverpool players. 3 for Netherlands and 1 for Germany. All went home last night, so it's an exciting night.
Yeah. Are you what are you watching for? Are you strictly United States men's national team and everybody else? Or I'm loving. I'm a star guy. I'm loving Erling Haaland. I'm loving Messi. I'm loving Mbappe and those guys as well. What is it that floats your boat about all that?
Yeah, I don't have, the only team I'm really pulling for would be the U.S. men's team, right? But, I pull for the underdogs. It's just kind of watching a great event. And I do love the game of soccer or football. So that's fun to watch good matches. Sometimes it can get a little bit boring with certain teams that want to sit back and just defend and, not really go for it. The Netherlands got like that, and I thought they deserved to lose last night.
I overheard this, so correct me if I'm wrong. It won't be the first time, but is it true that the U.S. and Great Britain are going to play on the 4th of July?
No, that was possible coming out the group stage, but it didn't work out that way. U.S. plays next tomorrow.
It's Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Oh, right. Both of them.
And then probably would get Belgium this weekend, but I don't think it would be the 4th. I think it would be a little bit later than that.
I get, if it would have been on the 4th and have that little matchup, with the 250th, cool. Man, that, that would be pretty cool if it's set up that way.
All right, Brian, auburnsports.com and your Monday musings, you gave a little treatment to the 5-on-5 ruling by the NCAA. Not monumental necessary, but a small step.
Yeah, I think it's a nice step. I think it's a good move. Like, I like the rule for football and for sports, but I think it's also important that they took a step to alleviate some of the things they're getting sued over constantly, right? Because in the current system, you have waivers for injuries, you have waivers for different things or different reasons why people petition NCAA for an extra year or 2 extra years, and if they don't approve it, they get sued. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose, but it just costs a whole lot of money to do that. And it gives them a black eye. And finally, they smartened up and made this move. And really, there's going to be a round of lawsuits here for the guys who finished up 4 years of eligibility this past academic year. But other than that, I think after that, it's going to be smooth sailing. So I think it was finally a good move, finally showed a little bit of vision and made a decision that was good for the future of college athletics and for their organization.
Yesterday, John and I got in a conversation about Auburn football in the future, what's going to be the big tipping point. And I can't remember where I heard this. I think it was maybe last week. I know you've spoken about this as well. Just the games that are there for the taking, even like the Georgia game that they should have won, and it should not have even been close. Games in which there's a tipping point in every game. The close games we're talking about in Auburn has been monumentally bad recently in close games. And the phrase we were bringing up was learning how to win. Is that a thing, and is that applicable here, Brian?
Oh, I think it is, but I think that just goes back to, that mental toughness, that little 5% that a great coach can do for a program, right? That lets you execute in those moments. So I do think potentially Alex Golesh can get that out of Auburn. We'll see. But I do think, the teams that make the dumb penalties or turn over at the wrong time or, get the ball with the chance to win the game and can never execute on that drive and push it down the field. If that constantly happens to your program, there's probably a reason it does. And it's probably because your team is just not disciplined enough, well coached enough, mentally and physically tough enough to handle the big moments in the big games.
Also added, Brian, that I think, some of the coaching decisions that were made during that stretch resulted in some of those losses as well. I know we talked about them on the Tuesday after some of the games, like, well, why did they do that? Or why didn't they call a timeout here? Or why did they run that play? So, yeah, I think it was a whole group effort that caused some of those losses.
Absolutely. I'm thinking of the pick six against Oklahoma. Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
You're wondering why you're running that play at that particular time in the game when you're in control, but and your defense is playing so well. But it's been a rough go for Auburn for 5 years, and there's a lot of reasons they haven't succeeded. I think the number one reason is they haven't been as talented as they need to be, but I think there are other reasons too. And I think coaching and being a little bit tougher and a little bit more disciplined and just being a better team has played a part too. Big part.
Well, certainly the winds have changed when it comes to recruiting. I mean, it's been a long time since I've heard the positive excitement, almost giddiness of the recruiting haul that Alex Golish and this staff have put together.
Yeah. 24 commitments, I believe, up to 12th nationally. I think this class is probably a top 15 class when all is said and done. We'll see. But I think they've done a good job of going out there. In year one, where you're usually battling from behind, right? You're trying to build relationships. You're falling, your peers are probably ahead of you, and here they are, have just really taken caught fire in the months of May and June, and now going into July, and they could pull up another commit or two here tomorrow. So it's not ended yet, but terrific job by them. A nice mix in this class, I feel like, of impact players and guys they feel like they can develop now over 3, 4, and 5 years.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up while you were talking, and I can't do it, so I'm not going to sound like I know what I'm talking about, which doesn't bother me. It's been, but there's a recruit from North Carolina. Am I right? Somewhere down in, I want to say Cornelius or Huntersville or a DB or something like that. I'll try and hunt it up.
Well, they got Nate Kamba about I don't know, a week or a week and a half ago. The defensive lineman from Charlotte. One of the top defensive linemen in the country. So he's one of them from North Carolina. I don't know if they have a second player.
Okay.
But they have done a good job of going outside of their usual area and getting some players that they really like and really want.
But yet with still a concentration in the state of Alabama, I sent John a graphic the other day that curiously he has not brought up, that out of the top 10 players in the state of Alabama upcoming, Auburn's got 3 of them. So that still remains.
Well, it was on my list, Barry, but we had to get to Terrion Arnold first and the collapse of the Braves and everything else. But it's on the list. Believe you me, I've got some comments about that.
Yeah, to me, and I know what list you're talking about. The thing that stands out to me is I don't think Alabama's on that list. Is that correct?
Correct.
Player?
That's probably played a reason as to why I sent it to John as well.
Yeah. Hey, Barry, do you want to tell Brian my response back to you when you sent it to me yesterday?
No, I'll tell him off the air.
But I don't think that has necessarily to do with Auburn. I think that has to do with Alabama. I think that's their issues, and I don't follow them closely, so I couldn't really, comment too heavily on that. But that's wild to see that. That's something that somebody who has covered recruiting in the state for more than 25 years and has followed it much longer, right? Going back to the days of the magazines and the 900 numbers, and when you get your information from listening to sports talk radio, or watching the news, sometimes that's where the information come from. You just do not see that very often. And perhaps it's just a blip on the radar, and it's going to change as we get into, later in the fall and closer to signing day. But yeah, it is surprising to see something like that.
We were talking about this as well, and I did do a little research into this, trying to compare Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, and all of that with what we know about some of the people we've seen. But comparatively to everybody else in the SEC, Auburn's running back room compares favorably to the top teams in there. Agree? Disagree? I mean, the reason why I'm asking this is because you were talking before about, the difference in winning close games and losing close games may have been coaching. Giving up on the running game in crunch time always wore me out.
Yeah.
They have a chance to really lean on it this year. I think they're going to anyway. but they got, it seems to me, the guys to do it, Brian.
They do, and that offensive line's got to come together, right? That's the
Yeah.
big question for those guys up front. But having Jeremiah Cobb going out and getting Nakai Davenport from USF and Bryson Washington from Baylor, and then even going out and getting the kid from Troy.
Tay Meadows.
Tay Meadows,
Yeah.
Tay Meadows, yeah. I just think they put a real emphasis on that position, and you can see it in their recruiting. They went out and got 2 high-profile running backs early. One of them flipped to Missouri. Both of them from St. Louis area. One of them flipped to Missouri, but they already had his replacement committed. So that is a really important position to the staff. Alex Golesh has said some form of, I'm going to run the daggum ball several times in our meetings with him. So, that's going to be a featured part of this offense. I think it helps having Byron Brown as quarterback to do that. And if this offensive line can come together, then, they can be a pretty formidable rushing offense, I feel like. We'll see.
With all of the tribulations, 5 straight losing seasons or non-winning seasons or whatever, I note that for the 4th straight year, Auburn has sold out their season tickets again. Did 83,000 combined Tigers Unlimited, faculty, staff tickets, student season tickets sold 83,000.
Yep.
Doesn't necessarily compute when you look at the results on the field, but the Auburn people still continue to support. It's been amazing to me, Brian.
It really is. I don't have a great explanation for it other than Auburn loves Auburn, and I just don't feel like around the country, in the South certainly, but not around the country, you would see this kind of support for a team that's put this kind of results on the field for 5 straight years. I just don't think a lot of programs have this type of love and affection and support, just homegrown type support. So credit to Auburn for that. They deserve all the credit in the world, and the people in charge of Auburn sports and Auburn football need to get their together and start putting a better product out on the field.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think it's undeniable that the Auburn fan base is extremely loyal and supportive of their athletic programs, and it has not been the greatest of times, particularly on the football field, but they're not giving up, and they're going to be there. That's, it's a huge advantage. Playing over there is a big advantage because that fan base is certainly loud and noticeable. The opposition certainly is aware of it.
Yep. And even the home field play has dropped, even with that advantage, which just tells you how bad it's gotten as far as coaching and player development and talent level. So that all needs to change. That's one of the most disappointing things I've covered in my career, really, watching this happen to the football program that really Pat Dye built, and has had so many great moments, going back to the 80s over the last 40 to 50 years.
Well, on that chipper note, a lot of different things. auburnsports.com. I know there's a podcast coming out. I want to see one of you guys take a crack at that new basketball guy, get a crack at his name.
Yeah.
Montas Rubstavicius.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think he says Rubstavicius. He says it really fast. They put out, Auburn put out on their Twitter X feed, all the players trying to pronounce his name, some of the coaches, and then he came in and said it. I need to go watch him say it a few more times to get it right. But yes.
Man, that's a mouthful.
Yeah. I had something I was just about to ask it, and all of a sudden it has slipped by me as well. Yeah. I'm Montes Rubstavicius. Oh well, it's gone. Maybe it'll be here next week whenever we roll it back. Yeah. Here it is. This is it. I'm scrolling down on some of the stories at auburnsports.com, and you made a real quick reference. Right now, football recruiting, it's a non-visit period. They can't get out, right?
Right, dead period, yes.
So what's happening? But you said they still might get a couple of commitments. I mean, just because you can't go see them doesn't mean they don't need to recruit. But there's still some guys on the verge, Brian?
Yeah, there are. A couple are announcing tomorrow, I believe. And, of course, even during the dead period, you can have contact via phone or instant message or, whatever. So that's going on. So we'll have full coverage of that for sure. As Auburn tries to bring in, I think Marquise Evans, I believe the edge from Spain Park, I believe he's from Hoover. I think Auburn's in really good shape for him, and I think he is announcing tomorrow. I hope that's his name. Hope I got that right. Sometimes I don't. But that's one to watch for sure. And that the baseball portal is still happening. I'm not sure if Auburn's going to have any movement there. We'll see, but we'll continue to keep up with that. And then I'm rolling out my little season previews and position previews, those type of things. Yeah, Marquise Evans, Hoover, announcing July 1st. So there you go. And I think Auburn's in great shape there. That'll be like the third edge buck guy they've gotten. So that's exciting too, because I love pass rushers, and I love really good pass rushers. And Auburn, if they can get Marquise, we have 3 of them.
There you go. All of that available at auburnsports.com. How do people get involved?
Yep, they can sign up online right there. Really simple and easy thing to do. And they can follow me on Twitter /X at BMATAU for all the Auburn coverage.
Excellent stuff. As always, Brian, appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, joining us as he does each and every Tuesday morning. I always appreciate his time and insight and information on the program. It was on my list, Barry. Something you sent me yesterday. I had to, is this legit? Is this a reliable source? I had to go through all that type stuff.
I wonder.
Yeah.
When John sends me something, it can be from Fred the Dorfman of Ider, Alabama. And John says, oh, hey, wow, look at this. This, I wonder about some of it, but this one is from Rivals.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a...
ESPN 300, whatever.
Yeah.
So you sent me a list of the top committed recruits from the state of Alabama. These are high school kids from Alabama that have committed.
Yes.
10 of them. 1, 2, 3.
There should be 10 of them. I'm not saying... that I know these people, or boy, this guy's a real get, or whatever. But I did notice it. This is a nice graphic. Rivals Industry, top committed recruits from the state of Alabama. And you look down there, I don't know, Isaac McNeil from Ryan O'Neal.
Didn't Isaac McNeil play at Auburn? No, that was a coach, McNeil.
You have Gunnar Rivers committing to NC State, which is not surprising. He's a quarterback. His dad's his high school coach, and his dad is maybe the best football player in North Carolina State history, Phillip Rivers. But you look down there. I'll go ahead and read the logos. The top, I guess it's 9, whatever. Miami, Auburn, Texas, Miami, North Carolina State, Auburn, Clemson, Auburn.
Oregon and Oklahoma, the last 2.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't show up on my screen there. But, that's 3 from Auburn and none.
When I saw this list, the first thing I thought of was, I'm really looking forward to seeing what our River Region Straw chat line viewers and listeners think about this list, who follow recruiting a lot closer than I do. What's the deal? Why is Alabama getting shut out in their own state? But when Barry sent this to me, my logical response was Bama recruits nationally. There are no 5-stars on this list. They're not taking a bunch of tomato cans. They're going national. Which I have said for years, even pre-Nick Saban. Alabama's got to quit recruiting a 3-state area and start recruiting nationally. Which Nick Saban did when he arrived, and you saw what happened. 6 national championships. So you can't get these people that go, I really want to dominate the state. Okay. I want the best football player. I don't care where they're from. The guy that grew up here, he's going to fight harder for you. Okay, sure.
Brian said that he thought Auburn was doing a nice job of getting outside the region, and Charlotte counts as outside the region. You also did say this. This is factual in your response text. All I said was I sent that to John, and I said, is there a school absent on this list?
You did.
And I sent him that. 3 Auburn commitments, 2 Miami commitments, John says, down here in state, Bama recruits nationally, no 5 stars on the list, and I'll get Bob from Pike Road's take on it tomorrow.
So, Bob, what do you think? Way offsides, Jeff. What do you think? Am I
come on,
right?
Guys.
I mean, down year in the state, no 5 stars on the list, Bama recruits nationally. What am I missing here? I mean, I don't see any issue here.
Is Trent Seaborn? He's an Alabama commit. Is he for next year or the year after? Or is he not
he's still in high school, isn't he?
Well, yeah, all these guys are high school.
I think he's got another year. Yeah, he'd be a senior.
Yeah, he's a
yeah.
Dude, that's what I keep forgetting. He led Thompson to a state championship like as a middle schooler, or I think he was in kindergarten or something. Anyway, Bob from Pike Road, of course, disaster on the pasture, and you disagree with him, and he'll say, well, you're an idiot, or you're incapable of understanding, like he's on some sort of a mental plane higher than everybody else. Again, Joe, who's spending the weekend at the Eclectic Chuckle Hut. If you want to go check his act, make sure you tip your server. He says, Bob, since you like catchphrases, here's one for you. As it relates to the Bama coaching staff, how about disowned at the capstone?
Ooh, that's a good one, Joe. Nice, disowned at the capstone. Look, I don't want to, not take this seriously, but I think the record shows clearly that recruiting has never been my forte. Let me know where they stand 2 years from now. And we saw what Indiana did. I just, I'm not that worried about it. Transfer portal, guys coming in left and right, filling needs when you have to.
Yeah.
I just,
especially this time of the year, and way offsides, Jeff points out, any list in June is useless.
That's right.
Maybe so.
And look, I've said this before. These Auburn-centered websites, I got to give these guys their credit. I mean, if they could give out Academy Awards for the giddiness and the joy and excitement of what Auburn's doing in recruiting, and I get it. It has been a long period of hell for people that cover Auburn and athletics. Coaching changes, 4-17 records, just letting them slip. I get it. It has been a tough stretch. So anything to be giddy and positive about, like it's the greatest thing to ever happen, these guys need a podcast or website award. I don't know if there's any out there. They need them because it's amazing how positive they are about kids that haven't taken a snap yet.
But here's the other phenomenon that I see is somebody like Bob from Pike Road. Yeah, he'll dig the Aubs. He'll jab at the Aubs quite a bit. Disaster on the pasture, The only thing that Bob tackles with as much gusto as dogging the Aubs is dogging this Alabama coaching staff.
He's not a DeBoer fan. No.
He says, he starts out by this. Bama football. Oh, no. Let me go before that just a little bit more. He says, football and basketball have different standards. Football at Alabama is elite. That's the standard, always will be. Basketball has never been that way. Oates is doing great under the circumstance.
Has Bob given us a midsummer Bama prediction for the regular season this fall? If you have, Bob, I've missed it. If you could resend it, I'd like to see your thoughts.
Bob says, this is the tone. This is what we're talking about. Bob says, as for DeBoer, get that U-Haul cleaned. Oil change and tires checked, ready for DeBoer and family's exit from Titletown in December. Bob says, when somebody shows you who they are, especially after 2 full seasons, there's no reason to not just accept that conclusion. DeBoer is out of his league and over his head, plain and simple. And he says, also, when DeBoer finally ultimately crashes this year, AD Greg Gurn needs to be fired too.
Wow.
What a horrible decision to hire a guy who intentionally fails to value running the football. The SEC is not the Pac-12. So I say all that to lead to this. Joe's little one-liner, because Bob keeps hitting, the disaster on the pasture. Joe says, hey, Bob, since you like catchphrases, here's one for you as it relates to the Bama coaching staff disowned at the capstone. What do you think Bob's reaction is? Bob says, you dang right, Joe. I like that. Disowned and Bob's all about it. He says, heck yeah, I wouldn't have thought that, but yeah. He says, Joe, we have a head coach who is over his head, out of his league. This isn't the Pac-12. You're in the big leagues, and DeBoer is failing. He says,
I love all the
pull for
opinions
Bama
and thoughts.
every dang Saturday. I have done for decades, but I know and expect total disappointment. But make no mistake, Bob from Pike Road bleeds Bama, ain't no doubt.
So, Bob, your thoughts, will Bama be better than 8-4 this upcoming fall? What's different than 6 months ago? I mentioned, 6 months ago, they got their ass whipped by 35. What has changed? Couple of new faces on the coaching staff, maybe a couple of new faces on the offensive line. What's changed? What's going to be different in 2026 than what we've seen the prior two falls?
And one final note before we go to the top of the hour break, with John's reaction to that graphic that I put up about, the top recruits from the state of Alabama. Alabama doesn't have any of them. John says, oh, you got to recruit nationally.
Sure.
Brett from Beauregard says, recruits nationally. 13 commits, 10 are 3 stars. 2 of the 3 who aren't 4 stars are from Alabama.
Wait a minute. Brett, did we not say last week, about some matrix where you add up all these stars and you shake them around and do the hokey pokey? And Auburn's was like a razor blade thin lead over Alabama with total number of star. I mean, what's the big deal? I mean, you act like it's, oh, gee whiz, they're terrible. I mean, the numbers tell us that Auburn is slightly, and I want to emphasize slightly, ahead of Alabama when you put them all out on the table and compare them, which we don't do here on this show. We don't compare.
No, which I don't know if those numbers are exactly what John says they are, because one of them is like ranked 9th in the country. One of them's ranked 67th or something.
Wait a minute. What do you mean?
I mean, the numbers are right, as you quoted. Auburn's like 0.75, but that's per recruit, and Auburn has a lot more recruits than Alabama does. So take a break.
I think that 5-star kicker is really helping Alabama with those numbers.
5-star kicker. They might need him. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game, get back to work, and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a fourth location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959, and have the best-looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw. Okay, hour number 2 underway on this Tuesday, and that means our man Travis Ryer on YouTube joining us here today. Travis, hope you're doing well, my friend. How's it going? Hey, Travis.
Oh, hang on, let me unmute him here.
There we go.
I'll try to unmute him. Uh-oh. We'll have to get him on in just a moment.
Oh, sorry about that.
Maybe he'll
big
get with
intro.
us. Yeah, that was a good intro. We'll have to do it again. Hopefully he jumps back with us again. Tonight or today, it is the knockout round of the World Cup, which means you don't have any, well, they're relegated to this or anything. Germany got beat. They're out. Today, in the round of 16, it's Ivory Coast versus Norway in Dallas, right? Ivory Coast, again, it's a country that's named after 2 soaps. All right. Norway has got Erling Haaland, who's my favorite player.
Okay.
France versus Sweden in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the Giants and the Jets play. All right, that ought to be good. That'll be good.
Okay.
France, Sweden, all right. But poor old Ecuador plays tonight at 8 o'clock on Fox against Mexico in Mexico City.
Ooh.
I get Ivory
advantage.
Coast and Norway and Dallas. You know, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
France and Sweden in suburban New York, that's fine. Ecuador's got to play Mexico in Mexico City. Good luck. Whew. I mean, this ain't like Jordan Hare in the Georgia game or Jordan Hare. I mean, they put moats around the field. They put like chain link around the field there. They don't play in Mexico. They don't mess around.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Plus you got the altitude you got to deal with as well.
Well, Ecuador's high, so I bet just geez.
Yeah.
Travis
There he
Ryer
is.
back
Hey,
with
man.
us again. Ryer on YouTube. Good to hear from you, Travis.
Sorry, guys. I was just passing through Derrick Henry's hometown of Yulee, Florida, and that town's just proof that if you're 6'3", 240, and can run for a couple of thousand yards a season, they can find you.
They can find you. Yeah.
Even without cell service, they will find you.
Well, I wanted to ask you about this because this is one of those crazy things that happens, a coincidence, and I'm thinking there's no way. Quick story here. Of course, 2 weeks ago, Troy Baseball hosted a super regional in front of 7,000 in Troy. It was a big deal and all that. And I got beforehand, I'm setting up and everything. And the NCAA representative, they had 2 of them there, Travis. And they're up there making sure everything is up to snuff and all the NCAA standards are met and everything. It was a very nice lady. And I was talking with her. She's an NCAA representative. And it turns out, you know, I went to school for a little while at the University of Florida. And she went to school at the University of Florida. I said, hey, how about that? Where are you from? And she says, oh, you've never heard of where I'm from before. I said, try me. I lived in Florida for 17 years. She said, I'm from a little town called Palatka.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, of course, Palatka is one of the crown jewels of the St. Johns River.
Sure.
And then now, all of a sudden, just 2 weeks later, Travis Ryer is judging chicken salad at the Palatka Golf Club. Whoa. That's weird, man.
Well, you know, the golf course chicken salad sandwich review tour is kind of like what we just talked about with college football recruiters. If you have good chicken salad, we will find you.
We'll find you, yeah.
Yeah, we will find you. So, yeah,
I like
it was
that.
Donald Ross Design there in Putnam County, and 1925.
Wow.
And they posted that Azalea Invitational, which has been around forever. Big time amateur tournament there in Palatka. But yeah, like it. Like
So,
it.
what the course, the chicken salad, both high marks?
I'm a Rossi. I'm a Ross head.
Yep.
I love every Donald Ross. If I can find a Donald Ross, I'm gonna play it. Design. The layout's great. I mean, the layout is tremendous. It's seen better days in terms of conditions. It's municipal, so only so much being thrown at it. But the vibes are unbeatable. You can't beat the vibes there. And the chicken salad, it was sort of a revisit because I had the chicken salad 3 or 4 years ago there at Palatka Golf Club. So I like to check back in, with some of these places and see what they're doing with it. And it was just like it was 3 or 4 years ago. Of course, Palatka, Florida is pretty much what it was 30, 40 years ago. Nothing changed.
It has to land that time forgot. All right. I got a difficult test for you here, much more difficult than judging the chicken salad at the Palatka Golf Course. Make what Terry and Arnold's mindset was make sense to us, Travis.
I can't, regardless, and I understand there's still a process to go through. But just everything you ever have heard about Terry and Arnold's been positive.
Yeah.
So just the alleged involvement with all this was in some ways a shock, and it could be very tragic when it's all said and done. So again, we'll kind of see where it goes. I know Nick Saban did the character reference for him, and that's really the first thing I thought about, was because we had heard and seen so much about the relationship between Terry and not only Nick Saban but Terry Saban. So you just head scratcher is what the best way I can describe it, unfortunately.
Travis, try to help us understand. I think you and I are in the same boat when it comes to recruiting. You've told us in the past you don't follow it as closely as other people do in your profession. I certainly don't as well. I just kind of, it's been, it's been like, tell me what it's like, 2 years down the road.
Yeah.
But as you probably have noticed, there's been a little panic because of the number of players that Kalen DeBoer has committed, the quality of them in number of stars, things of that nature. Is it more that they just don't have needs to fill, that maybe that they feel very confident in what they've got in position groups? They're going to maybe lean more on the transfer portal. What do you make of it? Because obviously we get reaction on this program. We hear it all the time. What's going on in Tuscaloosa, and why are other programs being successful? What's your take on it?
And we talked about it, I think, a little bit last week in terms of resources and how you're going to allot those between the portal now and your grassroots. And it really used to be exactly what you said. You were recruiting more so for even 2 to 3 years down the road. Now you're recruiting for 6 months down the road. And we're being honest. That's the way rosters are being shaped. And it doesn't hurt that approach when you see an Indiana do what it did in a couple of short years. So it's been microwaved, the whole recruiting process. My concern for Alabama specifically isn't that they're not getting the abundance of 4 and 5 stars in this class, which, as you said, obviously going to be limited in terms of numbers. The key to the drill for me, and this is where Nick Saban and others have really knocked it out of the park in the past, is, okay, you got your board and you got those 5 stars and you got the high 4s up there. Okay, if you don't get those guys, what's the drop off between that guy and the guy you do get? Because I think that's where Saban was so great.
Yeah.
Contingency guys that Alabama has had in the past. They may not get a 5, but they damn sure get a high 4. So if you're going from a 5 to maybe a low 3, that's where the gap could become an issue. And I don't know if that's totally the case in terms of what they're maybe having to settle for. But again, it wasn't always that Nick Saban got 5 stars. Is that, okay, I didn't get a 5, but I got a high 4 that will turn into a 5. And even the threes, of course, some of the threes they turned into 5. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's obviously a different era altogether. But, you know, and Alabama's obviously made a choice in terms of NIL and those things that they're not going to be, you know, an endless pit of cash. Now, you know, that's the approach they used to take with head football coaches too. And that changed with Nick Saban. But now they're still paying the coaches, obviously. I mean, look at DeBoer's extension. So that's not part of it, but just in terms of an approach in general, you know, Alabama forever was, we're not paying a coach more than $1 million a year. Come on, or $2 million or anything like that. And they ultimately changed that approach, and it worked out pretty well. You know, maybe that's something that's going to happen with football down the road, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Travis, of course, you know, his wide-ranging YouTube channel, Ryer on YouTube. We depend on him for cart golf. That's what we were talking about a moment ago. And, of course, Talking Tide, we depend on his expertise, talking about Alabama. I love it when you talk with your second helping, where you go over the SEC, and it's towards that I want to kind of get your thoughts on this. When Lane Kiffin, you know, this is a little while removed from his move to LSU, and he was talking about recruiting at Ole Miss and how, you know, their relationship or their connection with the Old South and with the, you know, Stars and Bars and the, you know, Dixie and all that really kept him from recruiting many of the high-profile black student athletes. Well, yesterday, Trinidad Chambliss, he's down at the Manning Passing Academy. He said that wasn't, I don't think he's right at all with that. I don't think he's being truthful about that at all. You know, we've had, you know, one thing that I can really take away from my visit, and the reason why I did commit to Ole Miss, is I asked my family what they genuinely thought about everything. And, you know, they didn't see any lack of diversity or whatever. Where do you fall on that scale? Is that a thing or anymore, or is it not?
Yeah,
At Ole Miss specifically.
I would really like to think it's not to the degree that it obviously was years ago.
Yeah.
I'd like to think it's nowhere close to that, but I think everybody's individual experience might be different. Now, wide ranging, again, I like to think that what Trinidad Chambliss said on that is more of where it sits these days. Now, you know, Trinidad Chambliss was also coming from D2.
Yes.
So I'm guessing Ole Miss or anywhere in the SEC would have looked pretty good to him. That's not to say that he hasn't had anything but a great experience, he and his family. I'm taking him 100% at his word for that. Just the point being, you know, for different people, it's probably been different things. And yeah, you know, it's Lane doing Lane.
Yeah.
It's hard to always take him at 100% authenticity in some of the things he says. Sometimes I think there's an ulterior motive involved, but then I think, well, it's Lane. I don't know if Lane has a filter or a process in his head where he's capable of really doing that. So it's kind of unfortunate that it's taken on a life of its own this offseason, but I think that's the key word too.
Let's stay on the Lane train. And I know Nick Saban was never one for hypotheticals. I'm just curious of your thoughts, Travis. If maybe things had moved a year ahead or 2 years ahead, and Nick Saban decided to retire after last season, would Lane Kiffin even been considered his replacement? Do you think Alabama higher ups would have allowed Lane Kiffin to be the head football coach at Alabama?
I just have a difficult time seeing that ever being the case.
Ever.
I think there were some of the things that, you know, transpired while Lane was in Tuscaloosa. some involving, people that you really don't want to put in a situation where you could ultimately have your fate decided by them in terms of a potential opportunity at UA. I think it would take a lot more funerals, so to speak, for that to sort of clear itself up in a way that, Lane would be really, really pursued. I'm not saying he couldn't be a part of the discussion, maybe in a pool of candidates, but to just be the slam dunk, let's go get Lane, I still have a kind of hard time getting mine.
Yeah.
Travis, here we are. We're about to turn the
arms around.
We're about to turn into July, middle of summer, media days coming up. It's we lost him for a moment. Let's see if we can grab him back real quick, just for this one specific reason. What are the plans for the YouTube channel for the remainder? Well, going into July, what are the immediate plans for programming, and how do people access it all? Well,
I think he went through a tunnel.
Yeah, I think we lost him again. So
yeah.
If he's in Yulee,
if
you guys have never been in Yulee, it's one of the few towns in Florida that is north of Jacksonville, but still.
I was just about to ask you that. I thought I'd heard that before. It's
in Nassau County.
I mean, how far north can you go from Jacksonville?
I mean, you can. Yulee, I've been through there before. Derrick Henry's hometown. I mean, it's like 8 miles from the Georgia line, 10 maybe. It's in Nassau County, which is extreme. It's that one little boot heel at the very top of Florida.
What's the seaside community? Amelia Island? Is that there?
Amelia Island is
north of Jacksonville.
That's kind of east.
Yeah, okay.
I guess you could, if you worked at like Amelia Island, you could live in Yulee, but why would anybody want to?
Yeah.
I love small town Florida. Yulee, I don't know that they're getting, I'm not sure they're getting very much residual tourist business in Yulee. So, yeah. Let's take a break.
Let's take a break. Hey, yeah.
Phantom's Daily Dog is next. You get a sense of how it went, but we'll make it official and roll out a new one when Longshore and McKnight returns in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
Pravel Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Pravel Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet. Okay, 23 minutes past the hour on this Tuesday. Glad you're with us. Thanks again, Travis Ryer on YouTube. Check out all of his many channels and content. Great stuff there from Travis as always. Not so great stuff from the Phantom today. The Daily Dog, we went to Sacramento last night in a game that was pretty much even, as a matter of fact. The odds makers in Vegas thought it was even. The score at the end of the game, though, not even.
Not even. Otherwise, they'd still be playing until it wasn't even. Well, the deal was that was a flat-out miss. 9-4. Dodgers scored 9 times. 9 times. Whew.
And let me
9-4.
Let me check this box score out. Let me see how this game played out. Usually I'll check the box score if we won. Let's see what happened here. Well, we had a lead.
It was the middle
Out of the
innings.
second, we had a lead. Then the top of the fourth, things got kind of crazy. And the bottom of the top of the fourth and the top of the sixth. Whew. And then for some reason we thought, you know what? Let's just scratch over 1 run in the bottom of the ninth. What the heck? Why not? Look, Oakland, if you're not going to, 1 run does nothing for me. I could care less.
Not in this context. There are times when 1 run would really mean something to them, but not in this case.
Not in this case.
This is one of my favorite anomalies in baseball is when the Dodgers these times play the Athletics, because the Dodgers have a third baseman named Max Muncy, M-U-N-C-Y.
Okay. All right.
He actually had a homer yesterday, 2 RBIs. He was 2 for 5. Max Muncy, M-U-N-C-Y. The Athletics have a third baseman who went 1 for 3. His name is Max Muncy, M-U-N-C-Y. Now, Max Muncy, the third baseman for the Dodgers, is about 5-6 years older than Max Muncy, M-U-N-C-Y, the third baseman for the Athletics.
Is he related to Chuck Muncy?
No, spell it differently.
Okay.
And one of them's black.
Okay.
Well, Chuck Muncy is. The other 2 guys are white.
Uh-huh.
Not only that, you've got, how many people do you even know named Muncy? But they spell it M-U-N-C-Y, and the first name is Max. And they both play third base in the major leagues. And they share the same birthday. They have the same birthday.
Yeah, Bob
that is
Smith,
weird.
Sam Jones, maybe, but Max Muncy? No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's
Max Muncy and Max Muncy, they have the same birthday.
Oh, look at that.
And their names both Max Muncy, and they both play third base in the major.
They're not born on December 23rd, are they?
They are not.
Okay.
No, I think it's August. But that is a total aside to the fact that Phantom's Daily Dog did not work out yesterday.
Well, coming off a winning week last week, we were really going for it, but hey, it started out this week slow. But hey, it's it's the first of 5, so we got time to make up for it, which we'll do tonight.
Hope springs eternal at Phantom Enterprises all the time. Like, I hope I get a winner.
5:40 is the scheduled first pitch for tonight's game, which will take place in Cleveland. As the Indians will host the Texas Rangers. The Rangers
of course,
are leading,
the Guardians.
Yeah.
Still, about 60% of America does call them the Indians.
Sure
Still, I get it.
That's the 60% that love this country and aren't bashing it every day. People like me.
Rangers Guardians tonight.
The Rangers are leading the American League Western Division, if you haven't noticed, by half a game. That's not a very big lead. That's razor thin, kind of like recruiting star averages.
Yes.
Now, the Rangers have gotten to this point by winning 5 in a row, 7 of their last 10. Oh, good for them. Probably been playing the Kansas City Royals, feasting on them lately. Who knows? But they're leading the Western Division of the American League, traveling to Cleveland, where the Guardians, you say?
Yes, they are tied for the lead in the
I got them 1 game out. Let me update this. ESPN's got them 1 game out.
Okay, yeah, all right, there we go.
That's close enough.
Enough.
We're close enough. The reason that they're 1 game out, Barry, is because they lost their last game. They're 5-5 in their last 10.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's okay. All right, but Barry, they have a home team tonight at 5:40.
True.
Our home team. We got Tanner Beebe on the mound for Cleveland.
Tanner Beebe, not BB. His name isn't BB. It's Tanner Bybee. It's not like BB King.
Bybee going up against Jacob DeGrom.
DeGrom, one of the great pitchers in the major leagues right now.
If you say so.
DeGrom.
Cleveland is a dog. They're catching 102 tonight.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're putting way too much emphasis on this DeGrom guy, who I've never heard of. Well, I've never heard of Bybee either, or BB.
Well, Bybee's 2-8. You may not have a chance to hear much longer unless he starts winning a few games.
I mean, that's like, is it Barbie or Barbie? I mean, what do you know? But anyway.
Jacob DeGrom is a former Cy Young Award winner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's on the bump tonight for the Rangers as a slight favorite. But we're going to take the home team tonight at plus 102, 5:40 first pitch.
There you go.
Don't be late. You might miss it. That's on MLB TV, which I have not gone to the trouble to find on my YouTube.
Shocking. Yeah. Shout out to the Whetstones, big Guardians fans. You know they're going to be watching that on MLB TV.
Oh, go heck yeah!
With some of our sponsored product up there.
Make sure you pull the Guardians through for us tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, we'd like that. So there you have it. That is the Daily Dog. Now, this caught my attention, as just about every chat on the River Region Straw chat line does, but I think Bob is spot on here. And this is kind of what Chris Bammer, I believe this is.
Well, that's Crypto Capstone. John says, Bob, do you like the Alabama, the over under, what is it, 8.5?
Yeah, 8.5. What do you think?
Bob says, John, I'm hoping for an SEC title and a top 4 seed in college football. But my expectation for Bama and DeBoer in 2026, 8-4, sadly. Losses to Georgia, LSU, Texas A&M, and a horrible loss to a no-name team at some point, which also would encompass, one would think, that grouping, maybe Auburn. If they lose to Auburn at the end of the year to go 8-4,
now wait a minute, Barry.
There ain't going to be nobody going to the Gator Bowl.
A no-name team?
I would not, but Bob does.
I think Bob is referencing a Kentucky, South Carolina, Mississippi State kind of loss. I don't know about.
He cannot wrap his hands around, as Travis said. He cannot wrap his hands around saying that predicting a loss to Auburn. So he'll just lump them in with a horrible loss to a no-name team. And
well, I do. The last I checked, Barry, as of this point, Alabama is a underdog to Georgia and LSU right now.
See, I don't get that. LSU, I think they'll be good, but man, if there's a team that you have to wait and see, I'm going to have to see. They're going to have to prove it to me. Alabama would be one, Auburn would be one, and LSU definitely would be one. They're getting their based on, the Kiffin factor. Game's probably going to be at night, all that kind of stuff. So certainly by November the 7th, that line will probably shake out a little bit differently than where it stands today. But as of today, if you wanted to bet it, Alabama would be the underdog. They would be the underdog against Georgia. A&M, I'm not positive, but they're probably a favorite today, but I could see them as an underdog as that game rolls around. Yeah.
But I think Bob's spot on. I mean, to me, those are the 3 games right there that if you're a Bama fan, that's got to cause you the most concern. As we talked about, they got to come out of the gate and win all 5 of the first ones. If they don't win every game in their first 5, East Carolina, Kentucky, Florida State, South Carolina, and Mississippi State, they got problems. They should not lose to any of those teams. But if they do, watch out. The bottom could fall out. And that's pressure on the board because the fan base, I don't want to say they're going to give up, Barry, but if they lose one of those first 5.
Go ahead. Can you find the words? Can the emotion even be stated?
But they after what they've seen in 2 years, and if they see something like that in the first 5, The confidence level. How about that? I'll put it this way. The confidence level will decrease significantly.
One of those losses, a loss amongst the first 5 games, and the fans are prepared to eat $72 million in buyout? Woo, that'd be a tough loss. Let's take a break. More to come in a moment. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 23 minutes to the top of the hour here on the program. I heard a baseball take yesterday that I just did not know, and I wanted to ask the baseball expert what the deal was about it. Nolan Ryan,
yes,
played for Houston. I think he played for Texas. Known as, what bunch of no-hitters, I want to say.
Seven no-hitters. Yeah.
But he also gave up a lot of home runs and gave up, teams beat him up from time to time.
Yes.
Probably more times than not. Actually, I think it was Cowherd. I was listening to him eating lunch yesterday.
I don't know about more times than not. I mean, he won a lot of things.
He had a bad side, not in terms of his character, but everybody knows him for his no-hitters, but he lost a few too, and he gave up a bunch of home runs, and, it's not all that, the guy was just, unhittable.
Yep. He won 324 games. He has struck out over 5,000, which is by far a major league record. He has like 800 more strikeouts than anybody else in history, but he also has 962 more base on balls than anybody else.
Barry, it's kind of like recruiting.
He walked 50% more hitters than any other pitcher in Major League Baseball history.
People don't talk about that. Now, I don't want to get on Nolan Ryan, any pitcher that'll stand there and tell the batter, come on, buddy, I'm right here waiting on you. Let's go. I got a problem with Nolan. But it's kind of like recruiting. Whoa, man. No in-state players on that list. Well, but what about all those national championships? Oh, I don't know. Look at them. No in-state players. I guess there's always if you dig deep enough, there's always a wart somewhere.
He's talking like, I mean, where's his robes and his little candle as he's walking down the center between the pews, with a little halo over his head. I guess that if you dig deep enough, you might find some warts about something.
Yeah.
I personally don't understand the motivation for that, but I suppose if you could. Now, for John to say that with a straight face, and he doesn't even have the normal feel of snarkiness that he sometimes does. What about all those national championships?
Yeah.
Evidently, it ain't meaning much to the people in the state of Alabama. These are two entirely different phenomena. Alabama has been the most successful football program by and large in college football history.
Yeah.
I'll grant you that.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact also remains that they don't have any recruits in the top 10 in the state of Alabama. Now, there were times when Alabama wouldn't even have to recruit those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys would say, Bama, I am a 5-star. I am a record-setting quarterback. I'll commit to you if you'll just offer me. And they say, well, come on down. We'll talk it over. We'll get you something over at Dreamland and all that. Those kids would be knocking down their doors to commit to Alabama. Evidently, a lot of them are either not being offered, I suppose, or are just saying,
so here
I would love to recruit to you, but Miami, can you imagine how much money they're promising me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Could be a lot.
So here we are, end of June. The giddiness factor in recruiting at some places is off the charts. But what's going to happen when reality hits on September 19th and John Summerall and the Florida Gators come into Jordan-Hare and beat Alex Golesh? And all the fans are going, hey, we recruited great. Didn't you watch all those Auburn podcasts and videos and stuff about how great we're doing and how giddy those guys were? Yeah, but that was back in the summer when nothing was going on. We're still the same old Auburn. We got beat by double digits, and we had our chances. We let it slip away, and a coach that we should have hired in the first place came in here and spanked us at our own place. And if the end of the season rolls around and they're 7-5, hey, but remember how giddy we were back in June? No, I don't. I really don't care. Same old, going down the same path. That's why I think it's so important, Barry, for Auburn to go 8-4, possibly 9-3, because you know what's going to happen. Not to say I'm going to be the one leading the line. Here we go again. Perennial 8-4, 7-5 program. Can't get over the hump. What do you expect Golesh to do? He's got to have time to rebuild the program. Well, heck, he brought 60 players from his former team. I mean, what do you mean rebuild it? He's already done it. So I'm really pulling, Barry. I know we've talked about Alabama a lot, but I'm trying to find a way I can get Auburn to 8-4. I'm thinking I can get them there. That Florida game is huge. If they're going to get to 8-4, maybe 9-3, they got to win that one.
That entire segment, that entire meandering, listless diatribe went from, I guess some people really have to really dig deep to find something in order to. And then he closed with something that hasn't even happened yet. As I guess, Auburn fans, are you going to feel all that excited about this great recruiting class when John Sumrall brings the Florida Gators in and spanks that Heine? And he began the segment by saying, I lament the fact that there are people who will stoop to digging up things so deep that they really don't matter. And I will close this segment by bringing up something that hasn't even happened yet. That might happen, might not, might. But if it does, how will you feel then? That is the genius of John Longshore right there.
Well, I don't know about genius. That could be a little stretch, but
yeah, John's uncomfortable with the word genius.
Yeah.
He hears it bandied around all the time, and humility prevents him from agreeing with it, but it's just a little uncomfortable. Genius may be a bit too strong. Now, consistently right, absolutely correct, that's a level that John has.
So
a little
what's
bit
the
more
best
comfort with.
Record Auburn's had in the last 5 years? 7-5, maybe?
Well, in 2020, they were 6-5. That's their that's their last winning year. They have not had a winning year since 2020.
Did they go to a bowl game that year? Was that the Birmingham
Did they even
Bowl?
have bowl games in the COVID year?
Yeah, I wonder. 6-5.
I can't tell you.
Well, it was only 10 games, so did they go to a bowl? Because there was only 10 games in 2020. I'm thinking they did. That's 11. So 6-5. They will definitely win 7 games. They will go over the 6-win mark and at least get to 7. I think 8 is very possible. Very possible. If Alex Golesh goes 8-4 in year 1, the giddiness factor could be off the chart. 9-3, forget about it. And they beat, say, Georgia and or Alabama. Oh, my Lord. Tiger tails out of trunks, flags hanging out of windows. Oh, geez. It'll be like the olden days.
They deserve it. You haven't had to be subjected to that for years now. And if it does happen, and I think, it would be a step in the right direction this year, you're just going to have to.
Barry, I've told you about my Alb sister.
Yeah.
So all of her children went to Ole Miss. And she put up an Ole Miss flag. I'm thinking, Ole Miss flag, huh? Okay. Interesting. This is, I think, maybe when Freeze was over there, and then whoever came after Freeze. Who did come after Freeze? I forgot who all was over there. But anyway,
it was Matt Luke, I think.
Matt Luke, and all that stuff. So they were big, Ole Miss flag. And then it's like the comeback game. I drive by her house the next day. There's an Auburn flag out there. I went, whoa, wait a minute. You've had an Ole Miss flag out here for like the last 2 years, and now you put up an Auburn flag? Is that what we're going to start seeing? Auburn goes 8-4, 9-3.
I think
all these people that had these other flags now going to be putting their Auburn flags back up.
Think you know the answer to that. We all know the answer is yes, absolutely, and it would be deserved. It would be legitimate. When we come back, it's the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. Final segment of our Tuesday live show is coming up with Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. If you encounter one wolf, chances are there's a pack nearby. Fortunately, the same applies to beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. To avoid going in circles, make note of recognizable landmarks, like that.
What's wrong with going in circles?
Different circles, Ross.
Okay.
Head for the mountains.
Drive away in a Toyota Crown Platinum or win your share of $25,000 in free play during Victoryland Casino's Crown and $25K free play giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Visit our Players Club and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, off I-85 exit 22 in Shorter, Alabama. Drawings July 10th and 11th. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Man, Barry, how about that Toyotas and 25K and free play? You kidding me? That could be you at Victoryland, where you can be a winner too. The more you visit, the better your chances of winning. Hey, looking for something to do over the 4th of July holiday? Head to Victoryland. You can be a winner too. All right. I do see the Victoryland 777 topic wheel warming up in the green room. Looks like 6 topics again today.
Yep, always 6 topics. We have them available. They have them ready. We have no idea what they are. All brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22, I-85, Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. Another one.
Bites the dust?
Yep. Oh, yeah. I don't know about Ed Davis, Malik Beasley. They're among 6 defendants indicted Monday, alleged sports gambling scheme that targeted at least 4 games during 2023 and 2024. According to the indictment, Malik Beasley lost millions of dollars gambling during his 9-year NBA career. He agreed to manipulate his stats ahead of at least 4 games during the 2024 season with the Milwaukee Bucks so that the co-conspirators could wager on the stats. See, that's what happens with this unlicensed stuff, John. Yep. They get you, they get you in a little bit of debt, and they say, I'll tell you what, we'll wipe out that debt if you promise. There was one instance specifically, Beasley, I think, was a guard.
Yep.
Where they were down 11 with like 20 seconds to go. Guy hit a free throw for the other team to get him up 11. Yeah. 10 seconds to go. Tough. And they inbounded to Malik Beasley, and he is busting it down the court.
Yep.
To get that layup in before the horn. Because they needed to get the over or something like that. That's why they're saying you don't ever you want to ban whatever it is, parlays or whatever, because those are easy to manipulate. You're not manipulating the final score necessarily, or anything like that. You're manipulating.
Well, there's a little in a parlay. Well, the thing, our teaser is a little bit more because you got some wiggle room. You're getting some points. Depending on how many teams you have in your teaser, which the Phantom has preached forever. Don't play teasers, parlays, or turns. It's a sucker bet. Just don't do it. Right. A lot of people love to do that. I'm not one of them.
This is one of those deals where he knew it was wrong. He knew he would likely get caught. I read somewhere where Barkley says of course, he loves to gamble. He has lost millions in his career. Same thing with Shaq. But he made enough money and endorsements and stuff to where it didn't hurt him, and he didn't get nobody got into his pocket and forced any leverage on him. But that's how a lot of it happens, John. Is you gamble, you get a little bit over your limit, and somebody says, "I'll tell you what, I'll do. I'll forgive your debt if you."
That's right.
Try not to play so hard against the Timberwolves or something like that. That's
how it's. Joe's at it again. I had nothing to do with that, Coach Bohannon. Tobias says, local man stopped taking Malik Beasley's action 3 years ago.
Yep, no more from you, man. No, yeah, and they know ahead of time. They know. All right, Little League.
Little League. Bad news Bears.
Little League.
Hey,
I'll tell you what, Yankees. Oh, this is awful. This is awful. This is George Springer for the Jays. The Jays are coming off a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Texas Rangers. Springer's hitting. Game on the line. Doink. Gets by him. Okay, this is to win the game. Gets by Soto. He picks it up. Oh, he drops it.
What?
He picks it up, and by the time he turns around, he says, no. That is one of those home runs you hit in under 8 ball, where you hit it, the guy should field it. Well, look at this. Major leaguer. This is Juan Soto. Nothing.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's hold him to a triple. Still
he ain't
in
really
the game.
hustling to get that ball. Whoa.
And then when that
in
happened,
the park homer, huh?
That's embarrassing. That's why the Mets fired their manager and their GM.
That guy didn't have anything on the game, did he? I mean, just saying. Woo, that effort was putrid.
Especially for Soto, who's getting paid like $50 million a year or something.
Come on, man. Geez.
All right.
All right, let's see what we got here. We got some more on the wheel, I believe. 5 more to go? No, we got 4 more to go. Here we go. Green, yellow, blue, and red. Victoryland 777 topic wheel open 24/7, 365. Exit 22 off 85 Shorter, Alabama.
Moving and shaking. This is what John's response anytime they were at the parking lot of the Jiffy Mart. And he said, hey, what's you up to, John? Oh, moving and shaking.
Yeah. That's right.
Draymond Green has declined his player option. He may move on.
I see the Golden State wants LeBron and
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis, yeah. What's up with that?
He declined his player option, so that opens up some money. Draymond Green, LeBron James, Anthony Davis are represented by the same agent, Rich Paul, who is like a super agent.
Yeah.
The NBA is run by the agents. Rich Paul wants that. He wants LeBron to the Warriors. He wants Anthony Davis traded to the Warriors to play with Steph and because LeBron wants one more championship before he sails off. He's 41 years old. And that may be his best chance if they can pull this off.
How come these guys like that don't want to go play with Memphis or Charlotte or Orlando?
Yeah.
They don't ever want to play in those teams. Hey, we're going to go play at Golden State, LA, the Knicks. Huh.
Just watch that. That's something the NBA is certainly going to watch in the offseason. Biggest story of the offseason so far in the NBA.
No doubt.
Will LeBron go to the Warriors? We'll see.
Is Bronny going with him? I wonder about that. All right, let's see what else we got. 3 more to go, I believe.
Gravy
We'll
train.
spin it. Yeah, no kidding. Red, yellow, blue. Where does it end up? We'll see here. It looks like sending signals. Yeah. Hey, baby.
Into the bar, that girl over there.
Yeah. How you doing?
Sending signals.
Okay.
Ooh, Jaylen Brown, great player. There's an Instagram. He plays for the Celtics. He's a very, very good player. Very smart guy. He's like a little genius.
Sure.
An Instagram from somebody who says, the Celtics should trade him to a city who respects him. He didn't comment, but he liked the Instagram post. And that is what gets viral right there.
Yeah.
Somebody was talking about when Giannis Antetokounmpo was rumored to have been traded from the Bucks, that they were going to send him to the Celtics for a deal that included Jaylen Brown.
The Celtics.
Well, Giannis got traded to the Heat, so that's not a big deal. But for some reason, they're trying to trade Jaylen Brown. I love him. I love that guy. He's been there for 3 years. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me.
29 points per game for him last year. He is a great player.
Yeah.
But I don't think people really take him as seriously as they should.
All right. 2 to go, I believe. Got a couple of minutes to get them in line. Let's do it. Blue, red, Victoryland 777 topic wheel where you could be a winner too. Let's see what it says. Where's he going to win?
Heat
What do we got?
Dome.
Heat Dome. That's right here, I believe. Ooh, World Cup soccer.
Oh, yeah. They're taking those hydration breaks.
Yep.
This week coming out is going to be rough. It's going to be hot here. I know that much. And they're playing in Mexico City. They're playing in Boston, all these open air stadiums. And I mean, you're talking about Norway and Sweden. They're still in this deal. The heat index up to 110. And they're not, you see British people all the time. My gosh, it got up to 83. It was an 83 in the summer in Alabama. You'd be like, hallelujah, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is going to be extreme heat. At least the heat index.
It's tough.
So you better be careful, and the fans better take care. So they have these hydration breaks, and so you.
Hey,
better
do you ever
stay
drink
hydrated.
coconut water?
I have before.
You know, it's supposed to be very, very good for hydration, electrolytes, things
Yeah.
like that. I had someone, I was in Costa Rica, man, they'll pop the top of that coconut off and stick a straw in it. It's cold, you drink it. It's very refreshing. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
The guy, they did tell me the kind you can buy in the store, not the same stuff. Obviously, he's drinking right out of the coconut.
You know, I've seen studies where they check that, and they test this and that and everything. The liquid that is the best for hydration, they tested all of them, Gatorade, Powerade, the whole deal, is water.
Just straight water, huh?
Just straight water. Gets
How
to your
about that?
cells faster. It doesn't tax your liver and kidneys and all that. Just saying. One
I
more.
understand the hose out of a garden hose is even better. It's the best.
Yeah.
All right, one more to go. Let's see
That's what John and I had to do when we were playing rec ball and all that.
Yeah,
Look
let's
how
sit
we
there for
turned.
30 seconds so the hot water would get through the hose. You get
Yeah,
some
the
cooler
newbies
water.
would take a drink out of it and their lips would get all blistered and stuff. Stupid. Surging.
Who's surging?
Oh, who is surging?
It's not the Braves. We
Phillies.
know that.
Oh, yeah. The Phillies. They're the ones who are only 3.5 back from the Braves now. John was fronting like they're only 2 back.
Yeah.
They were way, way back. And the big deal is that they got Don Mattingly as their manager. Mattingly has done great. They're 20 games over 500 since he took the job.
Barry, is that the same Don Mattingly that I have an autographed baseball from?
I can't believe you still have it. I mean, you got to sell that baby because I know it doesn't mean anything to you. Heck, I'd buy it. Mattingly's my boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but watch out for the Phillies.
Yeah.
Schwarber continues to be great for them, former Indiana University player. Kyle Schwarber's a stud. I love him. That guy's like, what just happened? Brandon Marsh has been playing well for the Phillies. I'm just saying the Braves, don't look back. Phillies might be gaining on you. And I think they are. Okay, there we go. That's our Gurn Jr. Victoryland
That's it.
777 time.
It is for Tuesday. Tomorrow, Barry, we're back at it. CJ Duncan, Yellowhammer News will join us here tomorrow.
Phil
as well on the program. That's a week from tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you told me
tomorrow.
that.
Yeah.
Because I was too caught up in sending you the text about, the
I know
top
you
10 high
were.
school recruits. I didn't
Yeah.
catch. So Phil
Yeah.
Steele comes up a week
Phil
from.
will join us. Dennis, you hear that? For you, Dennis Mitchell, Phil Steele, College Football Preview Magazine. He will join us a week from tomorrow.
Many thanks to Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, Travis Ryer on YouTube, and our producer, Gurn Jr. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.